Good morning, students, and welcome to class 11th. As board has already declared that no examination for the class 10th will be taken, so I congratulate you for your performances and the hard work in this pandemic time in the class 10th, and we hope that this year will be better than the next year. But since the pandemic is very killing at present, we continue with the virtual videos. Students in the class 11th, in chemistry subject, there will be 100 marks paper. Out of this 100 marks paper, 70 will be the theory marks and 30 will be the practical marks. Out of 70 marks, about 32 marks in the board class, in the class 12th, will be the physical and chemistry, 18 will be the inorganic chemistry, or I must say about 25-26 marks will be physical and the organic chemistry, and rest will be the inorganic chemistry because no separate mark allocation has been given by the board. I hope you will be able to understand. Student, the class 11th is a very important class for you. You need to groom yourself in the similar manner as you groomed yourself in the lower classes, because there is a drastic difference in the syllabus of the class 10th and the 11th. Here in the chemistry, I will begin with the very first chapter in your syllabus, and that is the basic concept of chemistry. Before I start explaining to you the various contents of this chapter, I have written for you the definition of chemistry. Chemistry is a branch of physical science. It is a branch of physical science which deals with the matter. I am underlining the word matter. What is matter? Anything which occupies space and has mass. So, branch of physical science which deals with matter, then its physical and the chemical changes. If the matter undergoes physical and chemical changes, or the physical and the chemical properties. So, branch of science which deals with the matter, its physical and chemical properties. Then what is the composition of matter? That is composition, the physical change and the chemical change. Physical and chemical properties, composition, the physical and the chemical change. The physical and chemical change. And chemical change and the energy changes that accompany this process. Am I clear? So, the branch of physical science which deals with the matter, its physical and chemical properties, the composition, the physical and chemical changes. The physical and chemical changes and the energy changes that accompany this process. Am I clear, student? This is called as chemistry. So, in the chemistry, we will discuss with you what is matter, what are the physical and the chemical properties of matter, what is the composition of matter, the various physical and the chemical changes that is associated with the matter, and the energy changes that governs or that takes place during any chemical change. Now, as far as chemistry in your syllabus is concerned, student, in your syllabus this chemistry has been divided into the 4 branches. This is physical and general chemistry. It is being divided into 4 branches. First is the physical and general chemistry. Physical and general chemistry. Then we will be discussing with you inorganic chemistry in detail. Inorganic chemistry. And then organic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry and then the organic chemistry. And then there will be a practical part of the syllabus, and that will be called as the analytical chemistry. So, these 4 streams or these 4 branches of chemistry are to be done in the class 11th. This will be the analytical chemistry. So what is chemistry? It is a branch of physical science which deals with matter, its physical and chemical properties, composition, the physical and chemical changes, and the energy changes that accompany those processes. Chemistry can be divided in the class 11th and 12th into 4 branches or into 4 sections. These are physical and general chemistry, inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, and the analytical chemistry. Am I clear? This chapter, which is a basic concept of chemistry, comes under the physical and general chemistry. Now, in this basic concept of chemistry, we will be starting with a very basic discussions in chemistry. Am I clear, student? And that very basic discussion, first of all, I will discuss with you how to measure. So, measurement in a chemistry. How do we measure the things? So, measurement in chemistry. When we talk about the measurement in chemistry, measurements in a chemistry, as far as the measurements in chemistry is concerned, any physical quantity. How do we measure the physical quantity? It is a pure number multiplied by the unit. So, any quantity if we measure, and if it is a physical quantity, so physical quantity. How do we measure a physical quantity? This will be a pure number multiplied by unit. Am I clear? As for example, if I write down any quantity, physical quantity, like density. Suppose if I write down density of any substance is 1 gram per ml. So, 1 is a pure number and gram per ml will be the unit of this. Am I clear? Suppose we measure the amount of any substance, and if we write down, suppose we write down amount or mass, if you write down this way, this is 10 kg. 10 is a pure number and this is a unit of a substance. So, how do we represent the physical quantity? It is a pure number multiplied by unit. Am I getting clear? Suppose we write down the volume, and volume is expressed in liters. So, how will I write down this one? Volume. Volume will be, suppose if I say 10 and then liter. This is a pure number and this is a unit. So, any physical quantity is represented as pure number multiplied by unit. Now, when we measure, there is a sometime the uncertainty in the measurement. So, what do I mean by uncertainty in the measurement? Uncertainty in measurement. When you do the titration work in chemistry, there will be always the uncertainty in the measurement or in observation of a titer value. Suppose if I say I measure a volume of a substance, am I getting clear? And that volume of substance suppose is 24.9. Suppose if I am measuring and observing the volume of a substance. Now, there will be sometimes uncertainty in the measurement. Some students might observe it as 24.9. Other students may observe it as 24.8. Some students may observe it as 25.0. So, you may see, I want to measure the volume in a titration. Titration is a type of a practical. Some of the students measure the volume as 24.9. Some students measure the volume as 25. Some students measure the volume as 24.8. So this there is uncertainty in the measurement. Am I getting clear over here, student? Now, how to remove or how to correct this uncertainty in the measurement? I mean to say, suppose you are solving the numerical problems. How will you get the correct answer? So, to remove or to correct the uncertainty and obtain the right answers or the precise answers, we need to do certain calculations which are based on the significant figures. So, the very first topic that I will be discussing in this chapter, which you will be studying in the physics and in the lower classes, you must have studied in the maths also, and that will be the significant figures. What are significant figures? These are those figures which include all certain digit plus one doubtful digit. So, now student, I will be teaching to you the significant figure. But before starting the discussion of a significant figure, let me recapitulate with you what I have started with you. The first chapter in the syllabus is basic concept of chemistry. First of all, I gave you the definition of chemistry. Chemistry is a branch of physical science which deals with the matter, its physical and chemical properties, its composition, then the physical and its chemical changes, and the energy changes that accompany them. Am I clear? Chemistry in your syllabus is divided into 4 branches: physical and general chemistry, inorganic chemistry, then the organic chemistry and analytical chemistry. How do we measure in chemistry? Measurement in chemistry is of any physical quantity is a pure number multiplied by unit. Now, when we measure, there may be certain degree of uncertainty in the measurement. As this example I have given to you, to obtain the right answers in the numerical problem, it will be the answer to be expressed by using the rules of a significant figure. So, students, now we will try to discuss with you the significant figures. So, significant figures. What are significant figures? Significant figures. Significant figures are the figures which include all certain digits and one doubtful digit. So, all certain digits and a doubtful digit, any figure including this will be called as a significant figures. So, figures including significant figures are the figures that include all certain digits and a doubtful digit. Include all certain digits and a doubtful digit and a doubtful digit. What do I mean by this? Suppose if I measure a volume and the volume is 24.8 ml or 24.846 ml, 24.84 milliliter is the volume given. Now, in any measurement, suppose these are the certain digits, everyone is obtaining up to 24.8, but to this value, someone observed it as 24.83 and someone observed it as 24.85. So, this over here is a certain digit, but 4 becomes a doubtful digit. So, this is a significant figure. So, significant figures are all certain digit plus a doubtful digit. Now, how do we calculate the numbers of significant figures? So, rules for calculating the number of significant figures. What are the various rules for calculating number of significant figures? What are the various rules for calculating the number of significant figures? So how do we calculate the number of significant figures? Now remember student, all non-zero digits are significant. The first point is all non-zero digits, all non-zeros digits are significant. So if you have a non-zero digit, they will always and always be a significant figure. Am I clear? Suppose we write down the number as 42.3. Is there any non-zero digit over here? No. Sorry, is there any zero digit over here? No. All are non-zero digits. So how many significant figure? It will be having a 3 significant figure. Am I clear? Suppose if I write down the value as 21.2, 4. There is no zero digit over here. So how many significant figure are here? There are 4 significant figure. Am I clear? So all non-zero digits are significant. Now, 0, when will it be considered as significant? 0 becomes significant when it appears in between two non-zero digit numbers. So B point will be 0 becomes significant. 0 becomes significant when it appears between two non-zero digits. 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 What do I mean by this? Suppose number is 53.03. 5, 3 and 3 are non-zero. 0 appears in between the two non-zero digits. So it will be considered as a significant figure. So how many significant figures will be there? There will be 4 significant figures. So 0 becomes significant when it appears and appears in between the two non-zero digits. Suppose the number is 21.303. So will this 0 be counted as significant figure? Yes. So how many significant figure over here? This will be 5 significant figure. Am I clear? Now one more thing, student. If you have a leading zeros means 0 written to the left of the number. They are never counted as a significant figure, even if they are written to the right of the decimal places. So leading zeros. If you consider over here the leading zeros are never significant. Leading zeros are never significant. Am I clear? So if the number is led by a 0 number, even if that 0 is to the right of the decimal place, then that will not be a significant figure. As for example, if I write down 0.543, it is written to the right of the left of the decimal. It is a leading 0. So it will not be counted as significant figure. So number of significant figure will be 3. If the number is 0.00 and 0, this is so many 0 you may write above this or before this, but they are not significant. So here the number of significant figure will be 3. Am I clear? So leading zeros are never significant. Remember one thing. If the zeros are trailing zeros and written to the right of the decimal, they are considered as a significant figures. So next is the trailing zeros. Trailing zeros, or I must say zeros written to the right of the decimal. Zeros written to the right of decimal. Right of decimal. Right of decimal. are significant. Trailing zeros or zero written to the right of the decimal are significant. As for example, if you write down 533.0, this is to the right of the decimal and are trailing zero after the number they are written. So this zero will be counted as a significant figure. So how many significant figures will be there? 4 significant figures. Am I clear? So trailing zeros are counted as to the right of the decimal. This will be considered as a significant figure. Any doubt, student? All non-zero digits are significant. 0 becomes significant when it appears between the two non-zero digits. Leading zeros are never the significant. Trailing zeros or zeros written to the right of the decimal are significant figure. Am I clear? Now listen one thing. If the number ends in zeros, I am not saying to the right of the decimal. If the number ends with 0, then that 0 may be counted with a significant figure or may not be counted with a significant figure. It depends upon how do we express the number. So if any number ends in zeros, then that number must be written in the form of n into 10 raised to power n. So next point, if number ends in zeros, 0 is not to the right of decimal. 0 is not to the right of decimal. Then that 0 may or may not be counted as a significant figure. Then that number is to be written in form n into 10 raised to power n, and this n will account for the significant figure. Am I clear? As for example, if we take the number 11,400. Yes, if you have a number 11,400 gram and I write it in this form 1.14 into 10 raised to power 4. If you multiply this will come same. Yes or not? Now here, this number will account for significant figure. And number of significant figure over here will be 3. Yes? If I write down this number as 1.140 into 10 raised to power 4, then how many significant figure? 4. Now you shall not get confused. This 0 over here is coming to the right of the decimal, but this is not exactly to the right of the decimal. The exact number was this. So in this condition, this 0 is counting with a significant figure. But if in the earlier case, 0 was exactly to the right of the number, to the right of this, so this 0 was also counted with the significant figure. Am I clear, student? So any number which ends with 0, it must always be written in the n into 10 raised to power n form. Fine. Or I must rub this line from here, 0 to the right of the decimal place, because it will confuse you. If the number ends in zeros, the number is written in the form that n into 10 raised to power n, and this n will count to the number of significant figures. So there is no confusion. Am I clear, student? Now, always remember, decimal point does not count for significant figures. So as a note, I must explain to you, decimal point does not count for significant figures. Does not count for a significant figure. decimal point does not count for significant figures. Tell me whether I am clear or not. Am I clear? So decimal point does not count for significant figures. Is it clear, student, over here? Now, rounding of the significant figures. How do we round off? Rounding off the number. Rounding off. That will be the next rule. Rounding off the number in significant figure. Rounding of the number in significant figure. How do we round off the number in the significant figure? Now, student, if suppose we have this number 5.672. If you have got this number 5.672, remember, suppose if I want to report the answer to this 3 significant figure, if the figure following the last number which is to be retained is less than 5, if the figure following the last number to be retained is less than 5, then that unwanted figure will be discarded and answer will be reported as 5.67, and that is up to 3 significant figure. So, if the number is 5.672 and I want to report the answer to the 3 significant figure, I have to look at the next number following the last number. If it is less than 5, discard those all other quantities, retain the last number as such. Am I clear? Now, suppose if the number is this 5.676. Here again I want to report the answer to the 3 significant figure, but the number following the last number to be retained is greater than 5. So, in that case, the other figures will be discarded and the last number to be retained will increase by 1. So, answer in this case will be 5.678. Am I 5.678? The last number to be retained is 7. The following number is 6, which is greater than 5. When it is greater than 5, this will be discarded and this number will increase by 1. So, answer will be 5.68. 5.68, and this is reported up to the 3 significant figure. Am I clear? Now, if the last number following the last number to be retained is 5, then if the last number following the last number to be retained is 5, suppose the number is this 5.6 and 2. If I take the number, this is 5.6 and the last number to be retained is 5, or let me take this number. If you have got this number 2.352. Suppose I want to report the answer to the 2 significant figure. The next number following it is 5 and this is an odd number. If it is an odd number, the answer will be 2.4. That means it is to be increased by 1 unit. If the last number to be retained is an odd number and the following number is 5, then the last number to be retained, if it is an odd number, it will be increased by 1 unit. If the number is this 2.2 or 2.452, here again I want to report the answer to the 2 significant figure. Last number to be retained after this is 5, but this is an even number. So, in the case of even number, the number will remain unchanged. So, answer will be reported as 2.4. Am I clear, student? So, this is how rounding off is to be done. If the last number to be retained is greater than 5, it will be remaining if it is a following number is less than 5, it will remain same. Following number, then the last number to be retained is greater than 5, it will increase by 1 unit. And if it is a 5, then the last number to be retained, if it is an odd number, it will increase by 1 unit. If it is an even number, it will remain same. Am I clear, student? It will remain same. Now, after learning these basic rules, we must know how to do addition, subtraction or division in terms of significant figures. So, addition. How do we do addition in the number of significant figures? Just see, student. Suppose if I am given the number to add 33.3 and then 3.11 and then another number I take is 0.313. 0.313. If I add this number, this will be 3, 2, this will be 7, 6 and 3. Is it clear? Now, how to give the result of this addition in terms of a significant figure? Listen very carefully. Tell me out of these three, which one is the least precise term? 33.3, because this is up to the 1 decimal place. So, the result of addition is to be reported to the same number of significant figures as were present in the least precise term. Here, how many are present over here? This will be 3. So, in this case, or I must say, the answer must be reported to the same number of decimal places as were present in the least precise term. And this is the least precise term. How many decimal places are here? 1. So, I shall report the answer up to 36.7. Now, see very carefully. Here I will apply the rule. The following number is 2, which is less than 5. So, this number will be discarded and answer will be 36.7. Am I clear? So, the result of addition or subtraction is to be reported to the same number of decimal places as were present in the least precise term. How many decimal places here? 1 decimal place. So, result of addition or subtraction must be reported to the same number of decimal places as were present in the least precise term. Then multiplication or division. This was addition and subtraction. The rule was to be applied for addition and subtraction. Then multiplication and division. Remember, student, the result of multiplication and division is to be reported to the same number of significant figure as were present in the least precise term. Suppose I have got the number 142.06 and this is multiplied by the number 0.23, 0.23, and on multiplication the answer comes to be equal to 32.6738. This comes to be equal to 32.6738. Which of the following has the least number of a significant figure? This. So, answer must be reported to this. So, it will be reported over here. So, following number is 6, answer will be 3. So, I hope, student, you must have understood this. In our next lecture, we will come across by discussing certain problems and the further part of this chapter. Till then, thank you.